Your brain is a supercomputer that can process as much as 11 billion bits of data per second, and yet your conscious mind will only be aware of 40 to 50 bits of information a second. It processes this data and then uses it to help us make decisions and take actions. Our brain is also responsible for helping us think, feel, and do. So what's going on here? How much of what your brain is processing are you actually aware of? Let's find out. Researchers believe that the human brain can process as much as 11 billion bits of data per second. That's the equivalent of nearly 500 gigabytes Steam game downloads every second. Chunking is the process of grouping items together so that they can be processed more efficiently. Filtering is the process of removing irrelevant information so that only the most important information remains. As you can see, our brains are incredibly efficient machines. However, despite their efficiency, we are still only consciously aware of a very small percentage of the data that they process. For example, if you're trying to read an email, your brain may filter out all of the unimportant details and focus on the key points. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay awesome. It also means that we have a lot more capacity for learning and growth than we realize. It has dealt with far more information than this in the past, and it will continue to do so in the future. You just need to find ways to make the information more meaningful to you. It helps us reach a wider audience and lets us know what you think. So please take a second to leave a comment. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Just because we can only consciously process 40 to 50 bits of information a second doesn't mean that our brains can't handle more. It just means that we need to find ways to make the information more meaningful to us. For example, if you're trying to remember a phone number, you may group the digits into 3 groups of 3 each. This makes it easier for your brain to process the information and remember it. Hey there, welcome to our channel. Your brain is truly amazing. It's constantly collecting data from the outside world through our 5 senses. In fact, our conscious mind will only be aware of about 40 to 50 bits of information a second. So why is this? Evolutionarily speaking, our brains have been around for hundreds of millions of years, but our conscious minds have only been around for about 200,000 years. For example, if you're at a party and there's a lot of noise going on, you may be able to focus on the person you were talking to and tune out the rest of the noise. This allows us to focus on the information that is most important to us and ignore the rest. During this time, our brains have developed a number of mechanisms to deal with the vast amount of data that they collect. One of these mechanisms is selective attention. Why are we only aware of such a small amount of what our brain is processing? But have you ever stopped to think about just how much data your brain is processing at any given moment? It's actually a staggering amount. Now, that's a lot of information. But the interesting thing is that most of this data is not processed by our conscious mind. Well, it's because our conscious mind is actually a relatively new development in the grand scheme of things. Selective attention is the ability to focus on one stimulus while ignoring others. Another mechanism that our brains use to deal with the vast amount of data that they collect is chunking. Finally, our brains also use filtering to deal with the vast amount of data that they collect. These are just some of the ways that our brains deal with the vast amount of data that they collect. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means that there is a lot going on in our brains that we are not consciously aware of. So the next time you're feeling overwhelmed by all the information that you need to process, remember that your brain is capable of amazing things. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We've got lots more where this came from. Hey, did you know that you can help us reach more people by leaving a comment below?